We are right on the edge of a change so big, it's going to completely redefine human history. Today, we're diving into what's being called the dawn of fusion abundance.
Our whole story really kicks off with this one powerful line from the source material. I know, it sounds like the beginning of some sci-fi epic, right? But what's happening in labs all over the world right now is very, very real. So what exactly is this ancient, unstoppable force?
Well, we're talking about fusion energy. For decades, this has been the ultimate promise, the holy grail of clean power. But it's always been just around the corner. Well, that's what's changing. The dream is not being put off any longer.
And that, right there, is the fundamental shift. This isn't about some far-off, maybe one-day possibility. The whole language around it has changed. It's not, it will be, it is. Fusion is literally igniting as we speak.
Okay, so you might be wondering, when did everything actually change? All the evidence points to this very specific, crucial window of time, the last few weeks of 2025. This wasn't a slow buildup. It was a sudden, absolute tipping point.
So what was this tipping point? It all comes down to one critical achievement. For the very first time, labs are consistently getting more energy out of their fusion reactions than the energy they have to pump in to get them started. Think of it like striking a match to light a huge bonfire. We finally created a bonfire that burns way hotter and longer than the match itself.
This phrase, net energy gain, is, well, it's everything. It's the whole game. For 70 years, this was the wall we couldn't get over, and now that wall has been smashed. It's the scientific equivalent of breaking the sound barrier. It's the proof that controlled, sustained fusion power is actually possible.
And this isn't just happening in one isolated lab. What we're seeing is a global race, this incredible creative competition that's speeding up progress like you wouldn't believe. You have these agile private companies like Helion and TAE in the US, and they're going toe-to-toe with massive government-backed projects like China's artificial sun.
And look, it's not just one breakthrough, it's a cascade, a complete avalanche of them. Helion is already shipping out prototypes. Commonwealth Fusion Systems has switched on the most powerful magnets in human history. TAE is sustaining plasma that's hotter than the core of the sun, and they're doing it on a regular basis. And meanwhile, China's experimental reactor just keeps breaking temperature records. It's this rapid-fire succession of historic moments, and they're all happening at once.
All right, so we've talked about the who and the when, but what is this power really? What are we talking about? It's nothing less than building a tiny sun right here on planet Earth. This quote just nails it. It perfectly illustrates the scale of what we're dealing with. Fusion is the exact same process that powers the stars. We are taking the fundamental cosmic engine of the entire universe and figuring out how to harness it for our own civilization. It's incredible. And the difference really hits you when you put fusion right next to fossil fuels. Look at the fuel source. For fusion, it's basically seawater. It's abundant, it's available everywhere. For fossil fuels, it's finite and stuck in certain places. And now look at the waste. Fusion's byproducts are radioactive for decades, sure, but that's nothing compared to the millennia of waste from nuclear fission or the permanent climate damage from carbon. This isn't just a small step up, it's a totally new paradigm.
Just stop and think about that metaphor for a second. It's not about being a little more efficient or a little bit cleaner. The sheer energy density of fusion is so massive, so mind-bogglingly huge, that it truly makes every other power source we have ever used, coal, oil, nuclear fission, solar, wind, all of it, look like a tiny flickering candle next to the blazing power of a star.
This technological jump isn't just about how we power our homes. It's about completely rewriting the basic rules of human civilization. It signals the end of an entire era that was defined by one thing: scarcity.
This is the fundamental truth, the main takeaway here. For all of human history, our progress, our conflicts, everything has been limited by one thing: our access to energy. That limitation is about to be completely erased. We're not just starting a new chapter, we're starting a whole new story for humanity.
So what's the actual promise of this new age? What does it look like? Well, it's energy that is totally and completely clean. Energy that is, for all intents and purposes, limitless. It's power that's projected to be cheaper than even coal, available to every single person on the planet forever.
And you have to understand, this is the point of no return. The second that first commercial fusion plant flips the switch and starts feeding power into the grid, our world is permanently, fundamentally changed. There is no going back from that.
Just think about it for a second. With energy this cheap and this clean, you could have limitless fresh water just by desalinating the oceans. You could power massive vertical farms that could end world hunger. You could build incredible cities in the middle of the desert and literally pull carbon right out of the atmosphere. Every single part of modern life is going to be redefined. This is the foundation that a whole new future is going to be built on.
And so that brings us to the final question. For thousands of years, humanity has been shaped by its limits. Now, the biggest limit of them all is about to vanish. The age of energy scarcity is ending. The only real question left is, what are we going to build in the age of abundance?